Welcome to the fifth week of the chemistry of lasting love. Whether you were compatible at the beginning of this series, today we're looking at incompatible to irresistible. When you find those personal needs that we each have, you are able to find romantic love. Keeping that romantic love is what keeps your marriage alive, keeps it fun, and helps you keep enjoying one another. How do we find ourselves incompatible? Well, as we've been looking at the last 4 weeks, maybe you don't spend enough time together. We talked about maybe having dinner together every night. Maybe you're not spending enough time together. You forget to fill the love tank. And when you're not filling the love tank, you are probably emptying it, neglecting to do fun things together. Are you a fun person? If there's dishonesty in your relationship, whether that means you're not telling your spouse what they need to hear, or one or the other is doing something behind the other's back and not being open and honest about it, it creates dissension. Maybe money mismanagement is causing a problem for you and your spouse. You can fix it. Criticism, responsibility overload. What's happening? You lose that romantic love. You don't know where it went. You don't know how to find it. You didn't even know it left. But once you've listened to these 5 podcasts, I think you're going to find some answers. And I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know. Actually, I'm going to have a page. It is theextraordinarymarriage.com/relationship. And you can go there and make some comments about what you found in this series. And you all know that there is a free gift, a free bonus that goes with you that helps you find your needs, find things you have in common, and that is at theextraordinarymarriage.com/needs. I can't wait to hear from you. Let's keep going. A marriage is a relationship of extraordinary care. It's not a decision. It is a decision, but it's not just a decision. Romantic love is a feeling, meeting intimate emotional needs. And that's what we've been doing each of these 5 weeks. Let's solidify all we covered this 5 weeks. And as we do the last two, which will be family commitment and admiration and appreciation, as you look at all 10 of these, affectionate, intimate conversations, recreational companionship, physical attractiveness, domestic support, financial support, honesty, and openness. All of these things lead to intimacy. And ultimately, that I'm not going to say that's the only thing that keeps couples together, but it's a big, big part. And if you're missing any of these needs, if you're missing the top 5 needs of your spouse, then there's probably going to be a problem with intimacy. The chemistry of lasting love. Have you ever heard this before? Happy wife, happy life. Same goes for husbands. You don't usually hear it that way, but the same goes for husband. And small choices plus consistency plus time equal huge benefits. With small, insignificant actions, you will reap huge benefits. And I hope that's what you have gotten from the series. Well, let's get right to it. The ninth need is family commitment. It's family engagement, and it shows that you care. Again, I will say, according to your past, what did your family look like? Was there a lot of family commitment, family engagement? Last night we got to go to one of our granddaughters' wrestling matches. Yes, it's girls wrestling, and she's very committed, and they practice all the time. And she was so committed to what she does that we wanted to go and show her that we cared and watch her in that. It's actually the first time I've seen wrestling. Well, let's get on. So, family commitment. It is participation, conversation, financial, household, childcare. Are you committed to your family? Men are example to their sons. What did your dad do if you're a man? Women are examples to their daughter. What did you learn from your mother? In the same way, your kids are going to learn from you. What are they learning from you? Kids do what you do before they do what you say. And something in family commitment that shows is family dinners, spending time together. Maybe, you attend church together, school activities, you support one another. You show that family commitment. Help the family feel loved and secure when you're supporting each other. And there's mutual respect given, not only to you and your spouse, mutual respect given, but also the children will model that mutual respect that you have for one another. Understand the behavior DNA of each other. That means you and your spouse understand that your temperaments are going to be different. Your needs, as you're seeing in this, are more than likely different. My husband and I's were mostly opposite. We had a couple of things the same, but a lot of opposite. You don't have to be the same when it comes to your needs. You just have to meet one another's needs. Your wants, what you want in life, what you enjoy, what's important to you. Your communication styles, like one's talkative, one's not, one's patient, one's not. One gets angry real fast, and the other one's calm and cool and collected. Opposites often attract, and this goes for our kids too. Rediscover your spouse. I have a workshop coming up. There's going to be one online, and I do these in person. Rediscover your spouse. Once you go through this workshop that helps you understand one another, then it brings a lot of peace into your family. You not only understand each other, but you also understand your teenagers and your children. And then you understand the people at work. I've actually gone into families and done this for people who were engaged so that they could understand one another more. It uncovers a lot. We are who we are. We love our spouse, but when you uncover these things, you can understand why they act the way they do, why they think the way they do, why they respond the way they do. We all have different temperaments, different amounts of emotion. Some of us are real emotional and some show no emotion at all. And we have different reactions to stress, but they're predictable when you understand the concepts I teach in this workshop. And we can get past the irritations because we begin to understand why our spouse makes decisions the way they do, acts the way they do, and maybe it's not as personal as we think it is. And that is Rediscover Your Spouse Workshop. Well, number 10, admiration and appreciation. How about a little applause? What are you thankful for? Well, even right now, aren't you excited that you're on number 10? You've listened to all four. We're on the fifth one, all four of these. You're learning and you are going to be able to apply these needs and this concept with your spouse. You didn't have to pay any money for it. You didn't have to go to a counselor or a coach or talk to anybody about it. You applied yourself and listened to these 5 podcasts. You printed out the bonus materials. You're using them. How about a little applause? You can pat yourself on the back. I know you're thankful for the things that you have learned. Sometimes we take each other for granted. What if your spouse wasn't around any longer? Some behavior styles have a very hard time giving praise. And some people really need that praise. But all that style does maybe is tear their spouse down, and they don't mean to withdraw from the love bank, but they do. They're obviously and usually only see what is wrong instead of all the things that are right. All the things to be thankful for. I believe in being thankful. All right, so your emotional bank account is in crisis when you're taking your spouse for granted. You don't have any conversation and you really aren't showing that you care. Little by little, your love bank account is going to be diminished, emptied. But if you continually make deposits with all the things that you've learned here, open conversations, admire and appreciate your spouse, family commitment, you're going to find more intimacy in your relationship. The chemistry of lasting love, last one, admiration is respecting someone. Like I admire that. I took voice in college, and I admire that voice coach for helping me find the things that help me sing better. I've enjoyed those all through the years because I took time to work on that. I admire her for that. I admire that leader who gets up in front of the room and speaks because I used to be afraid to do that. I admire that person who can play the piano. I think that's what first got my attention whenever uh, I started to like my husband in high school. He played piano, and I admired the fact that he could play the piano. What do you admire about your spouse? And the second one on this is appreciation. Appreciation is given in response for something that someone's done for you. My husband brings me coffee each morning. Sometimes he decides to clean up the kitchen and clean out the sink. Thank you. Um, he brings home that paycheck every other week. Thank you. He sits down with me at night and watches TV. If I want to go and do something special, he's Johnny on the spot and he'll do whatever I want. Thank you. I appreciate all those things. So, admiration and appreciation, is that one of the top needs for you or for your spouse? Often given when you do something for your spouse, values. That's that appreciation. Criticism is the opposite. And this withdraws from the love bank. Disrespectful words, never good enough, unloving. I have to tell you that this is somewhere, I mean, whether you are earning a living and paying the bills in your household, whether you are uh, the homemaker in the house and you're doing those kind of things, both parties need a little admiration, respecting each other. And who do we respect? People who speak well to us, people who appreciate us, talk well to us. Think about it. And appreciation is given in response for something that someone's done for you. So, what has your spouse done lately? Look for things, give a little appreciation. It is said that you get more of what you give attention to. And if you're criticizing, then you're not going to get what you need because you're withdrawn from that love bank. Behavior that's admired deposits in the love bank. Being helpful, patient, hardworking, emotionally stable, thank you, holding hands, having a two-way conversation, spending time with the family. These things deposit into the love bank and bring about more romantic love. But what cancels out romantic love? Tempers, gaslighting one another, selfishness, not keeping your word, being a bad listener. Sometimes we have to work on that. The chemistry of lasting love. Here's a picture if you're watching on YouTube. And this is my husband and I it's our senior pictures from high school. Because remember, I said we started dating in high school. And once he didn't dance at a homecoming dance, I decided I don't like him anymore. But it was later, a year and a half later, that we actually had opportunity to practice for a teachers convention, and uh, and that love was rekindled. So, what's your first thought when you think about your spouse? We asked this at the beginning. You know, are they fun to be with? They're helpful. They're kind, or do you have to walk on eggshells when they come in? Are you able to share your deepest feelings with them without them making fun? Are they understanding? Do they bring out the best in you? And do you bring out the best in them? You know, marriage is a journey, and it's not where you start, but where you finish. And it's like anything else in life that we want to learn about, uh, get education on, do better at. There's cooking shows all over YouTube and TV, and you can learn how to cook if you don't know how to cook. There's somewhere to learn everything that you need. And so if you're having challenges, consider that Rediscover Your Spouse workshop. Make sure you went all through these 5 podcasts, and it began on episode 69 of The Extraordinary Marriage. If you missed it, they're not too long and it won't take you, listen in the car, listen while you're cooking, listen while you're exercising. From 10 basic needs, you can find your top 5. Sit down, work that out with your spouse by using that free bonus at theextraordinarymarriage.com/needs. It'll help you find things in common, identify your needs, and get started on your own happily ever after. Remember that you need 15 weeks to get to 15 weeks, 15 hours every week together as a couple. This doesn't change. It might be eating as a family, cooking together, shopping, watching TV, football together, watching a movie together, taking a walk, talking about your day, like work, kids, hopes, feelings. 15 hours a week. And remember, you have to keep that emotional bank account full. Emotional bank account has to be full, and we have to be self-aware for that, nurturing our romantic love. All right, so the chemistry of lasting love, what were your top 5? Is it affecting intimacy in your relationship? And remember that everything is a two-way street. You want to do this together. All right, so the top 10 were affection, sexual fulfillment or intimacy, honesty and openness, financial support, family commitment, intimate conversations, recreational companionship, physical attractiveness, domestic support, and admiration and appreciation. Which were your top 5 and which are the top 5 of your spouse? Homework today, because if you did the homework after each one, it kept you on track. I just have to give you applause for finishing. Take a minute and write down 3 things that you appreciate about your spouse. Second, think about it. Are you creating the family unity you'd like to pass on to your kids? Third, consider my workshop, Rediscover Your Spouse. And I know you didn't miss that free bonus, theextraordinarymarriage.com/needs.